Today, I want to talk about how to properly resign from a company. So this video could be really helpful for anyone. So whether you're a recruiter and you want to learn how to coach your candidates through the resignation process, or if you're just someone who has a job and at some point in your life you may resign, this also should be a very helpful video for you. So today I'm going to teach you exactly how I coach my candidates through their resignation process. So if you're a recruiter in any capacity, if you work if you work as a corporate recruiter or if you work at a search firm, if you are not coaching your candidates through their resignation process, you are making an enormous mistake. You see, you've just spent all of this time getting a candidate through an interview process, an offer that has been accepted, and now you're at the final leg of the race. And if you're not walking them through how to properly resign, you are setting yourselves up for that candidate to make an enormous mistake by accepting a counteroffer. See, accepting a counteroffer is probably one of the worst things a candidate can do or a person can do in their professional career. See, a counteroffer it's a Band-Aid, right? So if you resign from your company today, right, there is a hole, there's a void that needs to be filled, and it's going to be pretty expensive to fill it. So if your company has to go externally to fill this job, it's going to take a couple of months just to get anyone in place, and then a number of months to get that person up to speed to be performing anywhere close to the way that you're performing in the role right now. And even if the role's filled internally, they still have to move that person into the role, and that person still has a pretty big learning curve, and it can still take months to get that person up and running to the point where you are now, right? So it in a lot of ways, it can be cheaper for the company to just offer you a counter, right? But here's the problem with accepting a counter. There's many problems, right? First of all, the problems are still going to be there. The reason why you decided to take an interview in the first place, right? Those problems are still going to be there, because in the 12 years that I've been in this search business, candidates who are well paid, who are being promoted and doing really well at their companies, and they're not worried and they're not worried about their company going under or any sort of future layoffs. Those candidates are probably not going on interviews, right? So generally, there's some sort of underlying reason why you accepted that interview you took that interview in the first place, right? Well, those reasons are still going to be there. And if your reason was money, and suddenly your company offers you a counter for more money, great, that helps short term. But you know what happens long term? The company no longer trusts you. They don't feel that you're emotionally invested in the company anymore. You're probably going to be the first one to go in a layoff too, right? So I would say that while counters could solve a very short-term problem, the long-term problem is still there. And I have to say, I think you may find out, and you would never know this yourself, but I think companies would lose a little bit of respect for you when you take a counteroffer and stay, right? So, if you're at a point where, so I guess I'll talk to you how I coach my candidates at this point through their resignation process, right? So now that we've covered some of the perils of a counteroffer and why not to take them, prior to me doing the call, this prep call with my candidates, I send them a resignation procedure sheet, which is like a PDF document, which covers a lot of the areas about counteroffer that I just went through, as well as some of the things that I'm about to cover with you. So I send that ahead of time and have them read it, all right? So then when I get on the phone with the candidate, the first thing I do is I ask them this question, and you have to ask them this question in this way. Very important, right? Is there anything that your current company can do to keep you? Okay? Now, what you don't want to do is say, well, there's nothing your current company can do to keep you, right? Don't lead them. Ask them the question point blank. Now, if they say to you, and obviously within reason, right? If they're going to give me $1 million, I'll stay, right? That's not a real answer, right? So if there is actually something within reason that their company can do to keep them, then you need to now go back and then talk to them about what I just went through, about the perils of taking a counteroffer, why you should never take a counteroffer. So that's what you do there. Now, if they tell you, hey, look, there's nothing the company can do to keep me, great. Let me now walk you through how you can go get through your resignation process as painless as possible, right? So let me give you some tips on exactly how I do this with my candidates and how you may want to do it if you're ever considering resigning. First of all, the best time to ever resign is on Friday afternoon. All right, so you have the weekend as a buffer. So if anyone's all pissed off or annoyed at you for leaving, well, they have the weekend to cool down. If you can't do it on Friday afternoon, then do it on any late afternoon during the week, right? So at least you have the night as a buffer for everybody to cool off, all right? But like I said, if you do this in the right way, no one should be annoyed, all right? Here's my best advice. Don't make this into a gripe session. In fact, do the opposite. Be very complimentary of the company. Say, look, I've really enjoyed my time here. I've learned a lot. It's been a great experience for me. I wasn't actively looking. I mean, even if you were actively looking, just say you weren't actively looking. Say, look, I wasn't actively looking. The opportunity came my way. It was just too great of an opportunity to pass up. And be definitive, right? Don't say I'm thinking about accepting an offer. Say I have accepted another offer. I've discussed this with my family. It's the right move for us. It's just too good of an opportunity to pass up. And I've signed the contract, even if there's no contract, to say you have a contract or you've signed the paperwork. Make this as definitive as you could possibly make this, right? And don't turn this into a gripe session, because all that does is open the door for them to try to make a counter or try to make some of the things that you didn't like better. And remember, like I said, it's only going to be better for the short term, right? Now, if you feel like it's your social duty to talk to the company and tell them why you're leaving, right? If there's a problem, or if you want to save the people that are still there and let them know that, hey, you want to tell the company, hey, these are the things that's wrong with the company, you need to fix them, fine. Save that for the exit interview. Don't do that during this part of the process, right? And the other thing that I want to advise you on is you don't need to tell your company, your current company, which company you're going to. In fact, I would highly recommend you not telling them. And the reason why is the last thing you need to do is have your current company trying to poke holes in the new company that you just joined. I mean, they didn't go on the interview with you. They don't know anything about the job. They don't know the people, most likely. I mean, there's no reason for you to put yourself in a position where your company that you're leaving is now making you feel bad about the decision that you just consciously made. So here's a good way to get out of it. If you don't want to tell your company where you're going, just tell them, look, it was a confidential search. The position that I'm moving into is replacing someone who's still currently at the company. They're going to be letting the person go soon, and I just can't possibly tell them. I can't reveal the name at this time. However, I will be changing my LinkedIn profile when I leave, and I'll happy to shoot you an email when I go. Right? The whole idea of this is to make this as quick and easy as possible, not set up for long discussions. You don't want them pulling you in a room, trying to wheel executives in, trying to get you to stay. Another good line to use is, look, I would rather spend the next 2 or 3 weeks, whatever your notice period is, spending my time handing over the work to you properly, rather than going back and forth with you about a counter that I'm just not going to accept. So I would really hope that we could just part in good ways and take it from there. If you do it that way, if you position it in that way, I very much doubt, one, you're going to be even presented with a counteroffer, which, as we just discussed, you do not want to accept. But two, you're going to leave on good terms. It's not going to be a stressful process, and I think it'll be great for both sides, for both you and your company, frankly. So, anyway, that's my tips for today. If you're a recruiter and you're not coaching your candidates through this process, start doing it, and start doing it immediately. If you're someone who may resign in the future, I hope you got something great out of this. I hope you liked it. If you're watching this video on anything but Facebook, just know you may want to go to my Facebook at Brian Safchik and do a friend request. I'm going to be doing videos like this every day at noon. If you got something out of it, please share the video, and look forward to speaking to you guys soon.